What's going on YouTube? It's Team Arsenal back with another video. Today we'll be discussing the top 5 meta decks this current format, in my opinion. Keep that in mind. But before we get into it, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us. At time of recording this video, we have over 397 subscribers. Trying to get to 400, 500, etc. as there's a 100 subscriber giveaway every 100 subscribers. So keep that in mind. Now, before we get into the video, keep in mind these are decks, in my opinion, like I said before, that I feel like are the best decks in the room that can win the locals easily, win a YCS, win a regionals, etc. Maybe you can even take them to Worlds, possibly. So yeah, let's start with the honorable mentions. Number 1, Chimera Branded. Now, this is a deck I wanted to put a little higher on the list, but its ceiling is not as high as the other decks on this list, unfortunately. Pretty linear line of play, but it's very good at what it does, don't get me wrong. Like, one card combos that just get you to your full board. But thing is, your full board is not much. Even with the greatest hands of this deck, most times you're just ending on maybe a Burfament set up in the graveyard with maybe a End of Anubis in the graveyard, maybe a Wagyu or something like that. Snipe one out of your opponent's hand, then having the standard target negation and monster negation in the graveyard through Kodo and Mirror Sword Knight. And maybe a branded fusion monster, like maybe a Rembrandt or something like that. But it's not really much. It's more so based on that, your recursion ability, hand traps here and there. It's a good deck for what it does. It's just not enough to be in top 5 in my opinion. And then number 2 is Medinium. Now, thing is, I wanted to put this higher, but there's a new deck that's out that I really like, that I feel like has way more potential than this deck. This deck is really good at what it does. This is the fact of, like, most combo decks, it just folds to Droll, Lockbird, or Nibiru at the right points. But yeah, it just hasn't shown the results that I thought it would show to this point. I thought it'd be one of the best decks in the room. It's up there. It's like easily top 10. It's just not top 5 in my opinion. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the top 5. Starting off with number 5, Sinful Spoil Infernobles. Now, I put this deck this high because the fact of what Pac did it with at the YCS was amazing. And it's actually followed it out with plenty of other tops and regionals, locals, etc. It doesn't have the same necessarily weakness as the Mediniums, and I feel like it actually has a higher ceiling, in fact, where it has some more disruptions, more negations, and you actually have about the same amount of follow-up, just with a stronger engine. And then you combine that with the Sinful Spoil engine, pretty amazing. At number 4, we have Purely. Honestly, I wanted to put this one below Sinful Spoils, but it's just the fact that it doesn't really lose to as much as Sinful Spoil, in my opinion. Yes, obviously Anti-Spell is a card, but you have to go first. Drone Lockbird is, depending on the hand, is pretty devastating. But it's just, now that we have a deck that just, it's towers plus shuffle away cards from either your graveyard or your board, plus hand traps to back it up. It's a pretty strong, consistent deck for what it does, and the grind game is amazing with it. Especially when you have it set up with the Field Spell plus your My Friend Pearly, it's a pretty solid deck. And then now we're actually adding Ghost Tricks to it, so now we actually can end on a Noir plus a Draco Future, which is even more devastating. When you already had problems with the hand traps plus Noir, now you got to deal with hand traps plus Noir plus Draco Future. So yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good. And moving on to number 3, we have Tier Limits. Now, honestly, I wanted to put this one higher because I thought when we got the Horus cards, Tier Limits was about to be insane. Don't get me wrong, it's still a pretty insane deck. It's the fact that now everybody's prepared for the deck. People are like siding or maining D-shifters. Everybody has their different Dimension of Grounds ready. We got DD Crows, Bitch Deals in the format. Just everybody's unfortunately really prepared for the deck. That's why I couldn't put it as high as I want to put it. But when it goes off, it goes off. It's still one of the best decks in the room, hands down. Even with the main monsters being hit the one and with Kikalos being gone, people are not even playing the King of the Swamps anymore in the deck. It's like, yeah, you could get Nibiru, but you better Nibiru me at the right time, or I'm still gonna fold you. Yeah, I shouldn't say much about this deck. This deck's been in the room for like at least a year or two now, a couple formats. Now moving on, number 2, we have Sinful Spoil Rescue Ace. Now, I thought Sinful Spoil was a pretty dope engine. It was pretty solid for what it was. One card engine that gets you into a fire hydrant, but now it's like you already had Turbulence setting 4. Now you have the easy way to get into your fire hydrant with the Sinful Spoil package. Hella consistent, still can end on like I said, the set 4 plus actually how many negates to the front row, because now you add in the jet synchrons, and you're able to actually synchro into cards like bearing the floor. It's pretty sick for what it does, and then the grind game with the deck is pretty amazing as well. And number 1, if you guys haven't figured it out already, it's Unchained. Now this is a deck I thought was going to like fall off the face of earth after we got the Simple Spoil cards, but surprisingly, after YCS Richmond, it just basically took its spot back. Most represented deck in the room, still topping left and right at regionals, etc. Even winning the YCS, it's pretty amazing. The deck's grind game and floating ability is out of this world. You can't out it with Lightning Storms, Regekis, Dark Holes, etc. You can't pop the cards. You have to hope to Abyss Dweller them, or some. Even if you de-shifter them, they're still going to get their effects off. Yeah, you killed the grind later on, but they're still going to make their full board even through a de-shifter. Let's wrap it up for this video, guys. Tell me, guys, what you think about this video in the comment section below. Do you like the video? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? In your opinion, what are the top 5 meta decks in this current format? This has been Ref Team Arsenal signing out. Peace and have a great day.